right, let me turn this light on. Just getting back. My first reading back in Romania. Thought I was sick today, actually. I think that's a good one. Yeah, it's a good color. Guess I'll warm myself into this reading by explaining the situation. So it's 4:55 a.m. I got in yesterday and I thought I could just beat the jet lag by staying up late. Had like a little, boost of energy being back in Romania after, basically a month in the US. My cats, my girlfriend. And I stayed up till like 4-ish and thinking, up at 2, maybe I really need to get some sleep. All good, organize everything. And then by tonight, or what would have been tonight, probably like this exact moment, being able to kind of start my new process of waking up a little bit earlier, not being up so late. I digress. I ended up being in bed till 7 p.m. today. I thought I was like, I was literally sick. Like it was like, it really felt like I had the flu or COVID or something, like I just never, I slept like, like 15 hours plus, like it was insane. And yeah, I mean, I got myself up and just mind over matter, got myself to eventually like once I finally took that shower, I feel like it was like I'm good. So yeah, we'll see. I guess we'll see when I wake up tomorrow how I feel, but I'm just gonna force myself to get a workout in first thing, and hopefully that resets everything. Workout for me means like a run. But anyways, I wasn't planning on doing a reading today, but I feel, yeah, normal. Like I feel good. I feel, you know, I feel how I want to feel when I'm doing reading. So with that, it's also late, as I said, but it's late, but I woke up at 7. So like, what do you want me to do? Like, I can't just fall asleep right now. I have tons of energy. Be a waste. I'd just be sitting in bed. So I'll do this reading and then just eat and then sleep. Anyways, so have everything pulled up here. Go ahead and share screen. Wait, what? Hold on. 1 second, actually. Failed to record reading. What is that about? Pretty sure that oh, it's saying that I accidentally recorded one just now. Okay, whatever. Either way, nothing there. So yeah, let's switch it over. So here we have the nail chart. I wish I could have a little box of my face, but Zoom does not provide that. So I just kind of switch back and forth based on my mood. Sometimes I just want to sit and meditate with my crystals and whatever. And sometimes I want to just have my face showing. Anyways, very interesting chart with Black and Lilith rising in Scorpio and Pluto also in the first house, and Moon in Leo at 22 Leo, Sun in Gemini in the 8th, and then you got some Aries energy, 29-degree Aries energy. And yeah, and then Mercury and Taurus, lots of elements, and Mars at, yeah, so your Venus and Mars at 29 degrees, the semi-sextile, Pisces and Aries. So that's, definitely interesting. Where do I want to start? Well, I guess, and then of course North Node, in Aquarius. So you're like me, you're born in 1990. Yeah, you're born. I was born in March. You're born in May. So lots of the same stuff going on. You have the square with Pluto. I see. No, you have the square with the Sun and the nodes. Pluto and the nodes. What I meant to say. Um, Pluto's 15. Wait, yeah, you totally do have that square. What is it? It's not. It's saying no, but you definitely you do. 15 to 10 is a square. It's 5 degrees. But anyways, so you also have Moon in Leo square Pluto. That's not showing, it doesn't show me that in the aspect grid, which is very annoying. But 7 degrees is definitely an orb. Even if it's nearly 8, definitely counts. And let's see, then over here, Sun. It says it's unaspected. Well, Pallas is on it. But by planets, it'd have to be mutable. No, no, no. So interesting. We have an unaspected Sun. Very interesting. So let's start by just, talking about the objective, the karmic objective, right? Which is the North Node, how to get there. What does it mean to be, Leo South Node with your moon there? We have that in common, right? We're both Leo South nodes, Aquarius North nodes, and we both have Leo in our chart. I'm Leo rising, with my moon and Sag in the 5th house of Leo, and you have a Leo moon, then you have your Mars in the 5th house. So, and South node, of course. So, I can definitely speak on that from the perspective of a karmic astrologer, which I am, obviously, where your South node is sort of the been there, done that, if you will. I just thought of something. I wonder if I could. Sorry, I go into like little Mercury Pisces moments, but it's like I just have ideas during my readings because I just got a new iPad, and I'm curious if I would be able to record for my iPad and use my computer, but then it would be all face, which is fine. Yeah. Wait, but no, but let me think for a second, because then the recording would be done. So I'd have to end this meeting. Sorry, I'm just gonna search this. Then if it's the case, I might just like restart that, restart this and try one on my iPad for the first time. It's a nice big iPad. So can you record Zoom on your? You should be able to. I mean, I think it's about like the file size. Also, my Wi-Fi. You can record your meeting or webinar on the Zoom cloud from your mobile device. Okay, but can you record Zooms on your iPad to the iPad? That's what I'm wondering. So it's just the cloud? Hmm. 1 second. I'm sorry about this. That would be so cool. So cool. Oh God, why is okay, so it's only the cloud. But I think I could still do that. Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm not gonna risk it. Because usually what I do here is that I've never actually recorded one to the cloud. I'm pretty sure if you I mean I pay for my Zoom, so I can definitely like, record to the cloud. But I just wonder. Oh, I see. So I could record it on my iPad. And my question is, after recording it, then it's on the cloud, and then I have to download it on my computer. All right, that's for another day. I just don't want to risk it. Let's not risk it right now. Sorry for the for that. Anyways, so yeah. Anyways, North Node in Aquarius. So basically, what I've noticed this. So this is why one reason why your chart from a karmic perspective is challenging. And I know it seems like I have the biggest ADHD right now, but I want to send you a DM just to tell you that I'm doing it right now. I guess it's okay. Got it. Okay, so yeah. So the reason it can feel kind of held back is that or why there's difficulty is that basically the south node is the tendency, right? So there's a tendency to be Leo. There's a tendency to be the star, to in the 10th house, especially when it comes to your career and the external world, to kind of have that boss energy. Now your moon, which is like, in my opinion, the most important part of the chart, you know, the sun and the moon, I give it like, I always say it, like for me personally, it's probably like 50-50, just like the feminine and masculine are 50-50, but I just like think it's more important the moon, just because it's like you can't be happy without your moon sign, like you literally need the moon sign is more of a need. The sun sign is like what like you're striving for, it's your identity. So for example, like someone like was only with their sun sign but like completely ignored their moon, they would be way more unhappy than if they completely like went with their moon sign and went against their sun. So, but yeah, both are needed, obviously. So when you have them in two very complementary signs. So that's usually when it comes to and I don't say this in a way that's like it's not, this part is not like a sure. I mean, I have like usually it's correct, but a lot of times it speaks to like a good relationship between the parents. And if it's not a good relationship between them, it's like a similar worldview, like if you had had to write like a paragraph or you know a journal, which maybe you might want to do, right? I did that in my book, Pisces Live Nine Lives, available on Amazon. About like the main kind of like lessons from both. Like I would imagine that there wouldn't be this big like people like me who have sun square moon where it's way different, and the parents are just completely different people. My brother, obviously, same parents. He has sun opposite moon, right? So it's just like a lot of times and our parents are divorced, so it's like a lot of times that's like a kind of indicator. So that's a good thing, right? Um, so just looking for there you are. I like to send that message, like get a little excitement going. Just gonna send voice messages. Hey, just letting you know that I'm back in Romania and I'm in the process of recording your reading. I want to apologize in advance for the first 10 minutes or so where I kind of rambled a little bit about things that didn't have much to do with astrology, but I was trying to figure out if I got a new iPad. Well, not new, it's my mom's old one. I was trying to see if I could like record it on there. So I was like, yeah. So yeah, but on it right now, and just wanted to kind of give you the heads up. And I skipped over probably like 5 readings just because I really resonated with your chart, or like 5 other ones. I just felt like I resonated with yours. I wanted to do yours tonight. So yeah, okay. Now everything is done. Done, done, done. So yeah. So as I was saying, um, when you have your so with the sun and the moon, they have similar goals, and we'll get into that. But like relating it back to North Node, right? Um, because you have a Leo moon, Leo moon's very competitive, very, like very big go-getters, very passionate. They, require a lot of attention. It's fixed fire, which I think is a superpower, because it enables one to like, have that fire kind of like fire, just ability to like really self-star and be assertive and move towards their goals, like, or just at least jumpstart. It's like that jumpstart, right? But then fixed, right? It's the only fixed fire sign. There's one fixed sign in each element. It's Scorpio, Leo, Taurus, and Aquarius. It gives you staying power, right? But basically, what can happen here, and I had an article not too long ago about what it means to be stuck in your south node. And really, it comes down to feeling like yeah, being like, because the south node is what comes really easy to you, right? And what will happen a lot of times with this, when you have, like I said, we have some similarities, is that when you have a lot, like when you're trying to do things that are more based on an ego, right? More based on like making yourself look better, or um, you know, even, and I'm not saying like they're immoral things. Oh, I just got my fucking phone. Not necessarily immoral things. I'll give you an example. Like I'm, naturally talented in music, but um, you know, I was always like blocked, by karma. You know how like some things in life, like when you're really like doing what you're meant to be doing, different synchronicities happen that leads you to that, right? So it's the same thing um when it's the opposite, right? So, that easily could have been something. Um, and it's frustrating, right? Because the Leo moon, they especially with the 5th house Mars, like they're very, very creative, very, like there's this great sense of, you know, of meaning in the life, right? Like a creative purpose. And it's really important with Aquarius North Node and it with the part of fortune right on it too, right? 4th house, to first of all find that balance between the feminine and the masculine within you. That's like the 10th fourth. And like in the work life and the home life, like not being too, invested in just like the social life, which, your sun, your moon will make it difficult being in very social signs. Um, But with that said, like, you're not meant to be a hermit homebody. Like, you're definitely meant to, find that balance, right? An eighth house sun is just what I have, right? So it's just like very esoteric, and it gives a Scorpio kind of energy, and you have Scorpio rising. So there's definitely a strong Scorpio vibe in your chart. But moving towards the Aquarius North Node is about sacrifice. It's almost like really like sacrificial when it comes to the ego, and it can be frustrating because you have like these like past life memories and tendencies of like being the star, and you really like the balance. So I'm actually a perfect example of this, like literally. And I really don't like to talk about myself in readings, but when I am like a very good example of something, I'll bring it to light. And especially with someone who has like a lot of the same stuff as me because they're born close to me. So yeah, like me doing astrology, right? So Aquarius is about humanity. It's about doing things for the greater good as opposed to just for the self, right? So for me, I found that balance by still being able to like do the Leo thing, right? With shining. I mean, I'm not like famous or anything, but you know what I mean? Like still like, being able to like put myself out there, and in a public way. It comes really easy to me being on camera, all that stuff. But then what I'm doing is for the people. I'm not doing this for money. Of course, it is my career, but I'm very, very like firm on like the need to do this for for the right reasons, and to not overcharge and this, that, and the third. So with that said, with that said, sorry, I'm having issues with something. Okay, whatever. With that said, finding that balance for yourself is super important. So it's like, okay, how can I find a career that career, because it's 10th house, right? That feeds both of those, right? And that's the big one. So in essence, family life is also very important for you. Being there for your family. There's in all likelihood, there's a past life tendency to maybe put yourself in your own creativity. When I say that, I just mean like like career, creativity, whatever you want to call like just like your objectives, right? And not compromise enough in that respect. And it doesn't have to be like with relationships. It can just literally be with like someone who's just so about their purpose that they're not like giving themselves that ability to go deep into their own self. So when we add the sun and the moon, right? I'll circle back to this. I just like to kind of talk about North Nodes early on, because it's really like with Pluto, the two, those are like the 2 points that I really work with heavily. I work with everything, but I really work with those. And yeah, in essence, here we have like the Gemini sun in the 8th. It's like this very, I see a lot with my clients. It's just weird because it's like Gemini in the 8th is like Gemini, but a really deep Gemini. A Gemini who you know who is very who has all that versatility and that curiosity and that dynamic ability, that intelligence, this communication skills. But Geminis can sometimes be a little bit like surface level, right? But your brand of Gemini is not like that, right? It's way more concerned, especially being a Scorpio rising. It's way more concerned with really getting down to the depths, right? So yeah, like that's super important. And I think of it like someone who is really able to kind of communicate. So follow me here. So someone who's able, who's not just like able, but willing and wanting to communicate in ways that are very deep. So it's very special because a lot of eighth house people like myself with Pisces there, or like many other clients I have, many other people I know, it definitely creates a very introverted person. But with being in Gemini in eighth house, it's like someone who might have this really special ability, especially with that 29-degree, Mars and Pisces. Like, come on now. And then having freaking Pallas, which is the asteroid, one of the four, there's four major asteroids Pallas, Vesta, Ceres, and Juno. Pallas is like about like the third eye. That's how I think of it, right? And it's another indicator of intelligence. Kind of like it's interesting. Like I think of like Ceres as like a second moon. Like it's very linked to like how you nurture and how you feel nurtured. Juno is almost, and I just made this connection now. Juno is almost like Venus, but like on a deeper level. Like like if Venus is dating, like Juno is like marriage. Right? And then Vesta is with Saturn. And yeah, Pallas, I don't really know about that one. Maybe like a mix of like Sag and like Pisces or something. I don't know. Like it's or Aquarius, like these types of signs, So to have a Gemini sun conjunct Pallas is very significant. And it makes the person, it's very, very good indicator for just general intelligence. But yeah, like someone who's just has like a very, 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 very good ability to kind of empower themselves through this this intellectual dexterity. And yeah, like it's 1000% a blessing, right? So yeah. And because it's conjunct your sun, it definitely makes someone who just it just has this real, probably does really well on like intelligence tests, and who, their interests are, like kind of like the mental creative principle, right? Which is Pallas, combines with the sun, the identity, purpose, all that stuff. So it's very good for like anything artistic, very transformational. It's a very harmonious aspect, right? And good for courage as well. Like someone who's like not afraid to really be themselves, and like can be very, especially in the eighth house, there can be like this huge sexual component to it, right? Where it's like they can almost like, eighth house sons, like they really like have like they're very sexual, and the form of the sexuality can be very, like it can be almost like taboo in a sense, like being interested in the taboo, the things that are taboo. And Yeah, like so it's nice. What else about that? So yeah, it's really about like creative integration. Um, and also, with that you have to watch out for like the people pleasing aspect. Um, because you may only like some people this they only know who they are when they're mirrored by the approval of another person. So it's really important to not, especially as a Leo moon, right? Because Leo moons could have that emotional need to be seen, to be honored, all that. Um, so yeah, just like not having the identity mixed with that. So yeah. And it's also something that can be seen in like bisexual people. I'm not saying it is. Gemini is definitely the sign of that is like, well, I guess like a Gemini, but also like Aquarius. But that's linked to that. Um, but ultimately, you know, you're, I'll go back to my thing. Yeah, ultimately it is very much about just like sexual exploration. So when I go back to so Gemini in Leo, they are sextile. It means they're two signs away. Um, and they love those two signs love each other, because like they're both very social. They both like there's not that tension between sun and moon, right? Like for people who like myself who have like the sun in Pisces, moon in Sag, it's like so different, right? But going back to the karmic aspect, this is how I know you're an advanced you are a advanced soul, as we say, is that your north node is in Aquarius, right? But you have energies, your moon, like the most important part of your chart that might be trying to pull you back to that south node. So what is the resolution? Well, in astrology, or my astrology, we look at the opposite sign. It's a polarity point, right? So the polarity point of Leo is Aquarius, obviously. And we think, okay, so so it's really about going within yourself, right? Deep inside yourself, um, like leaving behind that need for like the external validation and and I always call it create yeah, just like yeah, authentic self-expression is what it is, like where for example you're creating for the sake of yourself, right? Like art therapy is an example, right? Or like where you're not creating for the views, rather you're creating for just the sake of creating, you know? So that's very important. But yeah, it can definitely make it easier to kind of stay in that more like um kind of big picture, you know, career, um and yeah. So um hold on. I'm trying to get something to work here. What just happened? Wait, is it not recording anymore? Okay, that was really weird. My Zoom just like went in like a weird mode, but it still says and now it says recording in progress. Like what the I had not hit. Did my internet just crash for like 2 seconds? This is not Mercury retrograde anymore. I hate when this kind of stuff happens because then it's like, what do you do? Anyways, hopefully all is recorded well. Refresh. Okay, well, hopefully, I mean, so far Zoom, whenever this kind of stuff happens, it's been all good. I would hope that worst case, it would just like be separated into 2 different recordings. Hopefully, it just sticks with one. I think it just disconnected for like a second because it never hit end recording. But that was very weird. But yeah, so really like the best thing with this, right, is to dig deep into that esoteric and to make sure that what you're doing, like, because your career, you have a 10th house moon, so that adds like 10th house is Capricorn. Like I said, it's career. In Placidus, your moon would be in the 9th house. I use whole signs, by the way, just in case you know, like it's 2 different systems. I always say it's like 2 different highways that get you to the same place, and you might see it from like you might see a different perspective, right? Where did the Zoom go now? Like what is going on here? I bet all my notes I never really use anymore, but yeah. So basically, when you dive into that 8th house, that helps your North Node because your North Node's in the 4th house of Cancer. So it's like a big purpose for you is to really dive into your own version of spirituality and to really dive into your own shadow. That's really like the death, rebirth, transformation. So this is a huge statement about to make. So when you have this karmic placement, it can be very, very easy to not to like have your life filled with all these external things and to not dive deep into yourself, right? Think of the person who's just like so social, this, that, and the third, that they, they just yeah, they just don't really give themselves that time, that space to dive in. So yeah, really, really important to give yourself alone time. I'm not saying all the time, but really, yeah, spirituality and and all that is of the utmost importance. So um so I guess where I go from here is by saying that it's not easy because there can be like such a easy like such a like a tendency to be able to like to do exactly what I just said, which is like lean too far into the physical. So furthering these, your moon is square Pluto. Now that is very, very significant. Now, why is that significant, Jesse? Well, because that's one of the most hard aspects in all of astrology. Now, it isn't a very, very tight one. As you can see, it's 22 and 15, but it's also square Black Moon Lilith. So your moon, think of it like your inner environment, how you live within yourself, right? So in this placement, where you have that passionate Leo moon that wants to shine, the moon square, moon is usually the mother, right? Or at least not parents. It's already at 22 degrees. So it's a critical degree that is known for kind of bringing a Capricorn vibe in the sense of like it's just not so easy to kind of, how do you say it? It's not so easy to just like immediately just like things there can be lots of setbacks, especially in the first 30 years. So your Saturn return is probably this real like amazing time for you, right? And with the Leo moon, yeah, there can be that like some people with Leo moon, Leo south node, they can kind of have this feeling of like entitlement, where they like deserve to be like there can be like narcissistic tendencies, You know, it's very royal. Um, so yeah, the high vibe is like really about finding yourself in the most authentic manner possible. And yeah, and doing things that you know, like where you're working with groups, with people who really like, you know, who really kind of are about what you're about, in, for lack of a better term. And yeah, who just, you know, who want to you know, who have similar goals and similar worldviews. It's just super important. And um you know, with the moon and Pluto, as I was getting into, the moon, you know, with Black and Lilith, and the ascendant, right? So this is a very tough one. Let's start with the ascendant one, right? But so we're talking, you know, about this, these three squaring the moon. So moon square ascendant is all about like, so it's difficult because people, your ascendant is your like your outer personality. So Scorpio risings, they have like a very like it's a very they're not necessarily people who like when they walk into the room, people notice, especially when Black Moon Lilith, which is like makes you like a witch, you know, like in a good, like in a good way. It's conjunction, right? But we'll talk more about some like the potential negative sides. Um, but really, like, you know, you like you know, all Scorpio risings, like it's like almost very obvious when you see one. Like this is usually kind of like a dark demeanor, but then they're like charming and they're very perceptive. Like they see everything, you know. They have like this kind of built-in lie detector, kind of like Mars and Scorpio, right? And they might not say much, or maybe they will. Um, but you know, they are picking up on everything, and they can be a little bit intimidating for people, right? But they might come off sometimes as like very dark. So this is what's interesting, is that that's how people see you, right? Now, your moon, which is hidden, right? It's like an eggshell or an egg, where the shell is the ascendant, what people see, the Scorpio, and the white is the sun, right? And the yolk that no one really sees, that's the internal self, is Leo. So Scorpio and Leo are like, it's like people might see you as it could be frustrating because people might see you as way kind of more dark and more like hard, like more intimidating than you are. Like within the Leo moon, it's just like, it's like I think of it as like this forever young energy. Like Leo moons are so gregarious and giving and like, you know, just like at a high vibe, like they shine bright and they want others to shine bright. Um yeah, the stern face that the Scorpio risings typically have, that can, you know, be very serious, very contemplative, can kind of give off a, you know, a wrong impression. Um, so then you say, okay, that's one thing. Um, and yeah, like they can also be explosive. Um, but this is what's interesting, and I know, like I'm gonna come back to this, but so the ruling planet of your chart, well, it's actually Pluto, but you know, in classical astrology, it'd be Mars, which would be interesting. I kind of like to talk about both of them. But you know, Pluto's right there. As we go away. So you know, having a ruler in the first house, it just makes you a very dominant person. It adds this theme of like, not dominant, but like just very powerful. That's the word, right? So it can really be intimidating for people. Um, but you know, Scorpio rising is very passionate, but you know, they can be very guarded also, you know. So yeah, like very submerged, like yeah, very, yeah, and like yeah, I don't know. Submerge is the word that came to me there. So what happens though is that Scorpio, you know, you have to look at the Mars sign, right? Pluto and Mars, but like Mars, at 29 Pisces means that energy, yes, it's channeled through Mars because Pluto is like a generational planet. Um, but both are important. But basically, um, you know, the 29-degree point in astrology is about karmic endings. So you're kind of wrapping up the karmic energy associated with Mars and Pisces. So Mars and Pisces on a low can be very passive aggressive. It can be very escapist, super artistic, especially in the fifth house. But there is a tendency to um, not to, even as a Scorpio rising, to have difficulty like with assertiveness. Now being a Leo moon will make that easier, but um it's going to come to my next theme of power, right? Which is from that square, and kind of your relationship to power, your relationship to control, right? So, but yeah, with the 29 degrees, it's called the anaretic degree, right? um and yeah, it's just it's very, very, it's very, very faded. Like everything, having your Venus and Mars would give me the indication that your love life is very, very faded, right? Um, and there it can be problematic. It's like you're at the end of a video game, and you have it's like, or it's like you're at the end of a semester in school, and it's like, how long, are you cramming for your exam? It's like, or are you prepared, right? And it just makes it just like 29-degree people who have one or multiple of those, especially with 29, 29, 22. It's like very, very testy, right? There's lots of karmic tests, lots of karmic tests. um so um yeah, before you can move to that new field of experience. So there can be like crises, because you're really trying to like start anew, but you have to pass all the tests that it brings. Does that make sense? um so they're similar to the nodes, honestly, because they're both really, really related to fate. So this makes perfect sense because Aquarius and Pisces are two last signs. So North Node in Aquarius is like, okay, I'm here to help people. I'm here to be humanitarian. I'm here to kind of let go of the like it's the whole thing of like allowing the ego to be your worker as opposed to being something that brings you down. Um, so yeah. Um, and I told you I would go back to that, but I just want to kind of point that out, that like there could be difficulty, and it's really important to find like creative outlets to where you can just kind of channel that energy, right? So with the what else can I say about that though? Yeah, it's like if you don't learn what you have to learn, there can be crises basically. And um Yeah, so it's just like lots of transformation, and Pisces and Aquarius are about very both about service, and about compassion and about giving, so it would make sense to me that that would be a key theme in your life, let's just say. Um, and with the Venus there, it just adds to that, right? It just adds to that. And it you know it's actually common in the charts of like well-known people. Um, like a lot of well-known movie stars, I think it's like Mercury Moon that's at like 29 degrees. The 29 Cancer degree is like the millionaire degree. And then of course, here's truly, yeah, my Leo rising at 29, or it's actually at 28, but it's, yeah, on Regulus, which is like one of the royal planets. Which, yeah, it brings, yeah. But you have to like not get well, that's more with Regulus, where you have to like not get carried away by. Well, actually, it's totally relative to you too. Like you could be someone who achieves so much and like does things like I get a lot of people who have the opposite nodes as me as clients, and they always they always speak about how difficult it is for them to like they're super like naturally of service, but how difficult it is for them to like accept praise and allow the spotlight to be on them, right? So that's important for you, is to allow that to happen and to take place. So yeah, it's like kind of like a potential for crisis, but also like extraordinary success and talent if the person masters the energies. So yeah, it's very, very, very Plutonian too, because it is about transformation, which is your 8th house sun. So 8th house sun's people and like really, really like serving humanity. Like that's all over your chart, all over your chart. Um, so and I guess I could talk more about the 20 degrees before I go back to what I was talking about. But with Mars, Mars is like desires, passions, it's like the assertiveness function. Um, and what can happen, it's great for leadership, the kind of ambition, competitiveness, but the issues here need to be balanced, like where you're not too like that, right? And if not, then there can be like experiences, situations that come up that are crises, right? Um, yeah. So lots of, I think, didn't, what's to say, Steve Jobs have 29 degrees? Mars, yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. I think Bezo also has. So two extremely, the like two people like that having that is, it's crazy, right? Um, Lots of people. If you look up a list of 29-degree Mars people, you'll see. So yeah, and in the 5th house in Pisces, it's like, it could be, how can I turn what I love, my hobby, my create, like, and I would guess that you'd have like a creative hobby, but like I'm always surprised by people I tell, like, you know, tell us to, that they're like, no, I never dipped into it. But that's very, very important. So going, yeah. So and then with the Venus, it's like in Aries, and that can kind of create like and it's squaring Saturn. So that's difficult for self-love. Um, Very difficult for self-love. And a lot of times the relationships with that, the important ones won't take off until after the Saturn return. It's probably better that they don't, honestly, because the Saturn return, well, actually, maybe not, because that's more Saturn in the 7th house. But usually, basically, like you essentially have to like really, really learn to value yourself for who you are, like that authentic self-expression of Leo, that deep dive of the 8th house sun. Like 8th house sun, the transformation is so intense that people who have that, like myself and many others that I'm in contact with, they look back at their lives that can be separated into different eras, where they literally don't even recognize themselves at those eras. It's like almost like an actress or actor was playing them at those points. It's really insane. So it can be difficult for like friends and people you grew up with in your early environment, right? Because it's like you're like, like you know, you might be growing a lot while they might be staying the same. But I can literally feel the pressure on this chart that's pushing you into your life purpose. And that, yeah, when I talk about the moon square Pluto even more. But yeah, so with the Venus, like yeah, like love, it's about like love, money, you know, art. So you know, lots of beauty icons have this. Mozart had it, I think Marilyn Monroe, um Elvis, Disney, like lots of people, right? Um but I mean, oh yeah, and Tiger Woods. So like that's a perfect example, right? Like it's like about mastering everything related to like love and self-love. And if it doesn't happen, look what happened to Tiger Woods. Perfect example, right? Um so yeah. Like crises in those areas of life, even like business partnerships can come up unless you know the self-love is learned with the Venus square Saturn. um it's difficult, it's a difficult placement because it can make someone doubt themselves. And yeah, so with moon, going back to the moon, right? 22 degrees, it's Capricorn degree. So, lots of setbacks early on. So what happens is with people who have this is that when they move further and like after the Saturn return, things get a lot easier, right? Now, you have Capricorn in your chart, besides like some, outer planets, but still, like, you have the square with Venus and the 22-degree moon. Um, so hold on. Yeah, it's so annoying is it doesn't show me like like that in my aspect grid. I have to like see with my own eyes. Like usually it should show oh wait, no, it does, never mind. Tripping. But a lot of times like with the moon and Pluto, there should be a square right here. I could easily miss out on it unless I like looked and saw, you know. So but yeah, moon and Lilith. So that one is like exact, I mean it's like a degree away. So it's very, very important. So these are very challenging ones. But a lot of times what happens, so it's very powerful, but like lots of like there can be like triangular relationships, like situations where you're asked to kind of choose between like the mother, the spouse, or like your authentic spiritual path, career, all that stuff. And a lot of people have to like make kind of heartbreaking decisions, right? Sometimes they get exiled from their family. They can be like the odd, the black sheep, all that stuff, right? Um, and they tend to end up usually hurting someone, as much as it sucks, right? So it's like the key there is to pick the solution that makes the soul the happiest. Um, so um, mm, yeah, it is very like there can be also like addictions that can come. Um, and yeah, it's about like really following that high Leo, what you're really about, like what you really your authentic self. But yeah, the whole idea like the forbidden fruit, like there be like going back to sex addiction, potential for drug escapism, and that's another thing with Mars and Pisces is that can totally have that effect as well, right? Especially as an unaspected Mars. Let me double check that because it's not really telling me things, but I'm pretty sure I looked at it and didn't see anything. Um, here, yeah. So an aspect in Mars is very at 29 degrees is like there can be this difficult like it can make someone just like even though it's in Pisces, which might be a saving grace, just go and it can make people just like almost reckless with how they do things, and a real need to kind of ground. Um, And when we look at your chart, we see that your only Earth planet, inner planet, is Mercury, which to me is the least powerful of the big six, right? The big three plus Sun or plus Venus, Mars, and Mercury. It's just your thoughts. So there is a lack of Earth, which is that grounded, that ability to do balance and grounded. So I just keep seeing 444, 555, 222. It's like so many times. So that's really, really important. Having a solid routine, right? Also, Venus in the sixth house is very, very good for pets and how healing they can be for you. So I just want to throw that in there. But yeah, like with this one, it's like the phoenix rising from the flames. It adds more of that transformation. There can be like early traumas. So and it's all about learning from them. So yeah. Yeah. Mhm. So I think what else can I say about that one? Yeah, that's probably good there. But definitely someone who is able to kind of be controversial and just like really stand up for what they believe in. So then you've got Moon. So we talked about the ascendant, right? How like there can be like frustration where someone might think you're like way more serious. And you're like, no. And then they get to know you like, oh my God, I thought you were like, I was so intimidated to talk to you when I first met you, but then you're like so chill or like just so like fun and nice and optimistic. That's that, right? Now, with Moon square Pluto, which I see in I wonder what percentage of my clients have that. It's a lot for something that's like, mathematically, it's like a rite of passage, basically, right? It's like it pushes you even further into that, especially when younger, that death rebirth transformation. Um, and a lot of times, so it's very difficult because there's a very intense emotional life and lots of compulsive behavior patterns that you need to like really dive deep in yourself to understand. Like these dark emotions that can pop up. So counseling for to kind of unbury like the kind of subconscious I guess self-limiting beliefs or just subconscious just like energy, right, that's stored there. And yeah, the emotional reactions can come from a very like hidden place, and it can just make one very like their moods are just like up and down, and they can really sabotage relationships. It's a very difficult one, and a lot of times it's related to the mother or like the home family. And nearly always the mother, like from my experience, the mother, whoever the least dominant parent was, even if there was like tons of love, was very kind of strict or just like almost like controlling and or yeah, obsessive, interfering, like yeah. So it's all about breaking that kind of family kind of cycle. And so a lot of times there can be projection that comes out in romantic relationships. So, but really, like the key is found in going deep within the self and doing that shadow work. Um, so yeah, also makes someone like form very, very. It just makes you very, very Scorpio, like really, really close bonds, a deep need for attention. Someone loves someone who really, really is there for you to listen and who understands you at like a extremely intuitive level. Um, and yeah, just like whether it's a physical or a creative outlet, or even like some yeah, healing therapy, like communicative, whatever it is, to get that energy out. Someone who can, and having people, friends around you that you like are able to really speak about the stuff that really interests you and really get things off your chest. Um, And it can create, victimization, jealousy, all that low Scorpio stuff. So the key is finding power. So that goes through your dive into the underworld. And yeah, every time you become like consciously aware of these things, that's where like you gain a lot, right? And you make the changes. But some people with this, like there's so much of that compulsiveness, that it can turn into like perfectionism. I have to be this way or I'm not good. And yeah, so just the awareness of that and the work done on that is what really saves everything. But with power and control, that's like huge, and a lot of people with this, they they can be a little, yeah, they can be controlling, so it's like when you find that power within yourself, that like that real like power where you're not like where it's not coming from like a place of insecurity, where it's coming from a place of like, I understand my own value, right? um I don't need to try to control other people. I don't need to try to be this or that. That is when you win. And that's through the shadow work. So Venus, in Aries with Vesta, you'll be someone who, usually Venus and Aries, even if they're women, they will be the ones who like will go after the partners. And it's very, karmic, obviously, and like with money, like a go-getter entrepreneur. You have to watch out for like overspending for sure. Um, but in the sixth house, like going back to the karma, it's like someone who what's the word? Someone who has a lot of karmic relationships in this lifetime that they have to really find a way to balance, really find a way to find that balance. And once that balance, so let's say you have like different past life relationships you're dealing with in this life. You spend 2 years with someone, you balance the karma, maybe they screwed you over, or like, like the scales weren't fair. And then the next one, it's the opposite. So that's what happens a lot. And someone who really wants to serve their partner is vested there, right? Work hard for a relationship, someone who's not going to give up easily. And Venus in the sixth also is very favorable for health and very, very favorable for having that routine that you so desperately need, not desperately like just desperately from the perspective of your chart. Remember, the chart is it's just the deck of cards you're dealt. Your free will is what determines everything, right? So that's important, obviously. Um hmm, so what else can I say? Yeah. Yeah. So okay, so then fine. So how do you find more Earth? Well, I don't have Earth. You have more than me. You have your Mercury. So that'll make you think in a logical manner. It's good for for being kind of steady when it comes to learning things, and it can make someone, but your chart is very open-minded, so you're not going to struggle with this like many will. But a lot of people with that like are the people that don't believe in astrology. Um, what degree is it? Okay, so yeah, um, just like learning in a very methodical manner. And the seventh, it's going to make you really want to communicate a lot about relationships or in your relationship. Really communicating a lot in that respect or in that area of life. Um, needing a partner that you can talk to a lot about many different things. whether it is the relationship itself or whether it is just, what you're interested in. So, yeah. What else could I add to that? So with the Venus, okay, yeah. So yeah, like what can happen with this is that the person can be relationship obsessed. Um, and it's only when they, like I said, find that self-love, I don't need anyone, to complete me. I'm good on my own. If something comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Whatever. Easier said than done, I know. But that's when things really open up. Because there's gonna be a tendency to like push too hard. Um, push too hard, and that doesn't usually work out. Which goes back to the thing with control and power, like the idea of, like some people with this configuration will like almost like there'll be like a fear of abandonment in relationships, and they'll like try to like force that person through control and different power games to stay with them. So there's this real need to accept, um, that what will be what will be, and just surrendering. Surrendering is a huge part of your chart. So, or a huge current theme. Anyways, so aside from that, like I said, I can talk about the creative aspects of this chart nonstop. I mean, Mercury is brilliant. I mean, it's sextile Jupiter. It trines Uranus in Neptune. It does oppose Pluto, so that can bring kind of the same kind of like power struggle arguments. And it can also just like make one have like dark thoughts. So, that is tough. But um, it's not like it's just impossible, right? So with yeah, it just gives like a really brilliant mind, very ahead of your time. Very ahead of your time. And let's see what Chiron is. In Cancer, that could have created like, issues in ninth house around your belief system kind of being at odds with your family belief system. So it's obviously not easy. So yeah, there's definitely a need to and with Jupiter there, you really want to expand through your knowledge, expand through, like it makes someone very philosophical, right? So yeah, it's important to know that. And traveling also something that is very advantageous. Okay, just disconnecting. Hopefully it's nothing. But yeah, like Jupiter ninth house, always trying to expand vertex. Ninth house, like really vertex is supposed to be in classes in the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. But yeah, doorway to higher awareness, and it's conjunct Jupiter. So lots of fate when it comes to learning, meeting the right teachers. But then there's that Chiron, which is also conjuncted, which makes you a really gifted healer, who can heal through their emotions, but they first have to get past like different wounds related to like the ancestry of their family, stuff like that. And then Ceres is there too in Cancer. So you like to be nurtured through close emotional energy with people. Mars and and it agrees completely with your with your Mars energy in Pisces, and it gives you really like want to nurture in these types of ways. So yeah, it's definitely a nice one. Now also series and yeah, so overall when you put those all together, it's like someone who wants to who wants to really hmm, yeah, who has that need for closeness, and who wants to who wants to have that reciprocated, and who might you know who might what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, like there is a need to watch out for like kind of clingy energy. I'm not saying you have it. I'm just saying there's a need to watch out for the codependency. Um and yeah, so yeah, Jupiter vertex together though, like just so many fated encounters, and just yeah, I mean, what else can you say? Like so many fated encounters with people that can really like teach you a lot, that helps you go on your course. But then the family, like I said, potentially, like whether it's them not agreeing with your views, um whatever it is, it's not always easy, right? And a lot of people that have a configuration similar to this, they they can feel very unheard, or misunderstood in their family. So that's where boundaries is needed, right? um but anyways, yeah, you like traveling, and just like can be massive for you, getting away from where you're from. um could be a advantageous thing for you potentially. And yeah, so going back to like love and whatnot, like Juno also is with Pluto, so in Scorpio in the first house. So your ideal partner is someone who is a go-getter, someone who is not just doing things to like who has their shit together, but also who really can have those really deep, like you're looking for like a soul partner, like someone who like it's not always pretty, right? But there's growth, and it's like the desire to really combine like twin flame type energy, right? But always watching out for that need for control, and that the potential toxic tendencies. So having these two in the third is just really good for communication, and just the mind in general. You can if you're a writer, for example, receive downloads through your writing, or through your communicating, and just be a very gifted, unconventional communicator slash thinker. Very inventive. And yeah, so it's loads of good. And with Neptune, it's like it's very creative minded, but there's the potential for you know your thoughts merging too much with others, right? And so it's really important to kind of like, if you're around people too much, which like Geminis tend to be, um to just watch that, to watch that, and and really, really have a firm identification of what you believe in, which is what the Aquarius North Node is also about, and then going towards that. So away from it's going. I always say like South Node in Leo is in North Node in Aquarius is going away from the me and going towards the we. And fourth house, there's something with the family there and the ancestry potentially. So yeah, and also friends, like really yeah, I already talked about that. Just the importance of friends and networking and putting yourself out there a little differently. Because eighth house suns can be kind of reclusive, but it is in Gemini. So, but I actually have like a client who did like lots of classes with me who has a similar chart, and he was a real mix of like of Scorpio and Gemini, and it was challenging for him in the sense that he was really able to kind of have his job, which is in academia, right? It was challenging for him in the sense that he was able to have those kind of like kind of small talk conversations, but he really didn't like it. So just some food for thought. Okay, so midheaven in Virgo, your 11th house, you're really trying to give back. That's the ultimate, like, trying to be of service in your life, in your career, and really, really give back. So yeah, and like also with love descendant, in Taurus, like I said about the communication part, but you're also really looking for someone who can, kind of, I'm not saying they have to have earth placements, but who can make up for that lack you have in that element, and be like that solid rock, that you can depend on at all times. And yeah, definitely with the Juno, like someone who can just express all your emotions about. But yeah, there is a certain vagueness to the third house Neptune that can be confusing to people. So, it's just important to know that going into things. Yeah. Also there can be like like with Saturn there, tensions with the siblings, the early schooling environment, maybe because of your forward thinking nature, you could have been picked on. So that's obviously key. And yeah, if you have siblings, like I could see there being like some level of like unusual relationship, um perhaps even some kind of like setback, some kind of feeling of like of setback when it comes to that. Now, see the aspects. Yeah, so Mercury squaring the South Node, that would show me how your thought process, your cognitions, whatever you want to call them, may have like they're like it could be anything from like lying to believing things that you shouldn't believe, to not being able to like think on your own, to like excessive shyness, something around the the like something in in the mental sphere that kind of can be feel like it where there's like a feeling of being held back, and I need to kind of like, it's a skip step. So really like opening your mind is the key, right? And that could also come from this, the south node being ruled by the sun, the eighth in Gemini, where there's, Gemini ruled by Mercury, where kind of filling the life with kind of things that just weren't really worth it, I guess. That may have lacked meaning. All right, let's see the asteroids right there. Okay, let's pop these open. Yeah, Vesta 6 also just makes you a very hard worker. Okay, so now I have to like stare at all these and figure out like which one did I not see. So is that War? Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna put these in my head. Okay, so you have Quar, how close you're center? Very close, same degree. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's a cool Quar. But that's like about like out of the box brilliance, right? So it's like just make someone super smart, really. Um Also great for leadership, very outside the box, kind of brilliant, Um like Einstein, for example, had Quar on his ascendant. Um So it really kind of makes the person want to be just, it's super powerful out of the box. That's the best way I could kind of explain it, right? Um, Always trying to add things to your arsenal. So yeah, so it's a very positive one. Mark of a genius, out of the box thinker. And I just looked up like celebrities with it, and Steve Jobs. And so another thing you have in common with Steve Jobs, he had that rising too. Not trying to juice you up or anything, but come on. These are some pretty powerful ones. Okay, so nothing on the midheaven. I know that's Hydra and Regulus. So Alphard, Aphrodite. No. Well, yeah, but so Angel and Aphrodite on your moon. So just based on those, what do you think that could mean? Aphrodite is beauty. And let me tell you, it is a very nice one. And it is definitely, out of outside the box for sure. But yeah, just able to like, the arts, attract others. And then Angel, same thing. Angel, Astro Angel, it is what it sounds like, It gives a very angelic kind of energy. Now I'd like stare at these and see what I can like which ones are which. It's hard, but I've gotten used to it. So that's the close and okay. It's not gonna really be anything. Actually, I guess with Jupiter can definitely be something. Um, so so Sirius and Jupiter, that's like really good for money. It gives lots of business success. Um, really like large family ties. Usually it's like born into a large family, or you know, or they want to like create like a large family themselves. So what happens here is like you're very affected by what happens with your family members and people you like love and care about, like more than others. Like if something like whatever happens to one affects the whole, like to extreme effect. So having those relationships locked down, so important. Okay. Cupido and your sun, that makes you a flirt. Um, that's kind of like one of those sexy aspects, I would say. Um, Sirce on your sun, that is literally so you are a witch. You have two of the three like main witch um points. You have Black Moon Lilith right in your ascendant, and you have Sirce right in your sun. So undoubtedly, and you have Aldebaran very, close to your sun too. I mean, it's the luckiest star. I mean, it's far. It's not like it's close enough to where you are within like a degree and a half, but still you'll benefit a lot from the luckiest star, royal star Aldebaran. But it's it's not like so close to where it's like um really 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 affecting, like, but it's still very positive. And if I can get what the hell this one is. All right, I just did that, Suche. So I'll go on the sentence. That just means you really have to watch out for, who you let in terms of love. And yeah, it can be problematic if you're not careful. And they can be like energy vampires. And yeah, so that is everything. So let me know. So basically, oh my God, I stuck under, I think I did under an hour 20. Actually, I can say a few other things. My goal, I mean, it's the recording is to be longer, but yeah. So, um, yeah, with the Saturn third house, also you have to add that, like, yeah, just like communication ability, like restricted early in childhood. So that's a theme we're seeing. So it's like really about like gradually building up that skill. And when it comes to like the Neptune and the third, just like just finding that creative pursuit is also really important. And having that groundness, because like I said, the scattered mind can come up. So like meditating, hiking, getting in nature, all that stuff. And with Uranus, just like I said, like a very ingenious like thinker, right? Who thinks outside the box, very quick, who might study like unusual subjects. So yeah. maybe, yeah, little things I can add. And Mars in the fifth, like I said, like a strong desire to express yourself creatively, which links exactly with your moon. But once again, just find the highest vibe of that Leo Aquarius axis, which is being yourself, unapologetically yourself, which is a witch. And Mars in Pisces also gives a very strong drive for a spiritual path and for helping people. Really, really intuitive also. So, but yeah, watching out for like the victim-like mentality and escapism. So yeah, that's about everything. So what I'll add is, so nearly everyone, they get this in the follow-up. Wait, yeah. So you have the follow-up already. They add, so the follow-up is just an hour where we go over all this live on Zoom. What most people do is they'll add the current astrology. Usually it's 350. I'm willing to do it for 250 for you, and that's like 2 hours, usually more. So it ends up being like a 3-hour reading. We schedule a date and time, everything, and yeah, we just I use all my predictive techniques. Unlike a lot of astrologers, to be honest, who, if you look on their sites, they'll have like, you know, super expensive for solar return, super expensive for progress chart, super expensive for, transits. I'll have 3 different readings. I do it all in one, and I keep it digestible, So, and then with my 2 masters in psychology, I'm able to yeah, it's very, very healing. It's very good to have that. I highly, highly recommend. The only time people don't do it is if they're, constrained. Usually, like, well, I mean, like, since I started doing this, which wasn't that long ago, like the adding adding the current astrology to the follow-up. It's just magical because like the follow-up, like the chart's fresh in my mind, and then we just move right into current astrology so you can know what to expect the year ahead. I'm not a fortune teller, but you're gonna know the big themes. Like if you have like, yeah, just like to really, really prepare yourself. And everything kind of integrates together in a very magical way. So that's it. Let me know about that. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for everything. And yeah, once it's uploaded, I will obviously send it to you. And oh yeah, last other thing. Yeah, just like remember traveling, like always continuing to learn. Um, in that sense. Wait, hold up. Yeah, always, continuing to learn. And expand yourself in different ways is super, super important. And now, it will be easier, and self-love, is of the utmost importance, because it'll be very, very hard to find relationships that work until the Saturn Venus one is undone. I keep adding things because I'm just like, I don't want to add everything. So my readings last so long because I'm just like, yeah. But I guess like, with the Mercury Pluto opposition, it can make one like sometimes obsessed with their own ideas. And they can be like almost like have this relentless energy to like kind of impress them upon other people. So and it can also create lots of like really intense debates and kind of like verbal confrontations. So just understand that everyone learns and gets to where they need to get at their own time. So that's it for today. Thank you so much, and chat soon. Let me know about the extra reading. All right. Ciao, ciao, ciao. And hopefully Zoom didn't screw me here. All right. Bye.